Testing, testing. One, two, three. Excuse me. Testing, testing. One, two, three. Testing, testing. Don't fuck with me. Testing, testing. One, two, three. Just make sure my audio is correct. Everything is updated. Z, za, zer, z, za, zer. All right. Let me send out the signal. Okay. So it's been a while since my last live. um and that's mainly just because life shit, school work, etc., etc. But today's stream is going to be I'm going to attempt to make this stream very focused on a particular set of topics. So what I'm going to start with is recently in I guess in the entertainment in the entertainment I guess arena or whatever. There's this thing, there's this couple, I think it was like Moneybag Yo and his girlfriend, right? And she came out and said that she refused to marry him because she didn't want to deal with possible baby mama drama from his baby mamas, right? Now, the only reason why I personally I don't even have like an issue with this. Hey, what's up? What's up, Keith? What's up, Lion? I don't even have an issue with I have no issue with with her doing it, right? Of course not. But what I have an issue with is that within the Western zeitgeist, it's there's this pattern of where women seem to understand completely the worries and the issues that men have the moment women have money to lose, the moment that it's women on the chopping block to lose something. They all of a sudden it clicks, all of a sudden, they're like, wait, let me make sure my all of a sudden they understand why men don't want to get married, why men ask for prenups. All of a sudden, it's like this. All of a sudden, oh, I get it now. I understand now, right? And then The thing about it is that when they understand it, no one faults them, rightfully so. No one faults them for doing what they need to do to protect themselves. But everyone, including men, will attack men for doing what we need to do to protect ourselves from women in the States. And the thing that makes that so hilarious to me, right, is that for the most part, most of humanity organizes themselves religiously or irreligiously under monotheistic beliefs, right? Whether it's Judaism, whether it's Islam, whether it's Christianity, most people adhere to those faiths in some capacity, right? Now, in those religions, there's multiple stories or parables, whatever you want to say, telling men, essentially warning men to protect themselves from women. One of the most one of the most overused and misused quotes from the Bible is a man finding the good thing when he finds a wife, right? Implying what? That if a man doesn't find a wife, and if a man finds anything but a wife, doesn't find a good thing, right? Warning men, right? And then I think one of my favorite stories from the Bible is a story of Samson, where a man blessed by God, given talents that far exceed the normal, was given 3 rules: don't cut your hair, don't drink wine, and don't intermingle with the Philistines. What did he do? Started drinking wine, didn't cut his hair, but the thing that really got him was when he found Delilah and she set him up. Throughout the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah, so many stories telling men, watch out for unscrupulous women. Watch out for unscrupulous women. Yet, when you look at the contemporary zeitgeist of how Western men and Western socialization approaches men being cautious of women, people are like, how dare you? How dare you want to protect yourself from women? How dare you? You should let any kind of woman. And then the part that kills me too is that when you do in fact this, not ask for the Carfax, right? And you end up getting fucked up in the long run. The same society that told you that you should just trust her, or you shouldn't be as judgmental, etc., will tell you, well, you should have known better. How many times have we seen stories where men will go to a bar or go to like a party city, right? And there's a woman there that essentially drugs him, to rob him. And then after he gets robbed and goes to the cops are saying, okay, we'll look into it, but next time, be more careful. Next time, understand that in reality, what kind of woman is gonna come up to you at a bar and it be on the up and up? Essentially telling men you can't trust that women won't just come up to you and it be altruistic. But at the same time, they'll demand that you do that, exhibit that same behavior, right? And this whole, I guess, this whole story I'm trying to weave right here is that in the West, there's this idea that manhood isn't so much about leading, correcting, or 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 yeah, it's not so much that in the West there's this idea that you can't correct women, right? This is where that fucking SBE bullshit is coming from, that you can't correct women, right? And In the West, there's this notion that it's not so much that you can correct women, it's more so that you should put yourself in a position so far ahead of women that no matter how women fuck your shit up, it shouldn't matter because you can fix it. Which is crazy because again, the West is built on Judeo-Christian values. In the Bible, there isn't there the idea that, oh, you shouldn't condemn or punish women's behavior is in the Bible. In the Bible, there's so many instances of where God punished his women who go against what's being told. So many. Yet when you come into these conversations with men and you see how these men behave, it's, oh, well, you can't do anything to her anyway. Or, oh, well, what do you want her to do? Right? And it goes into what I said earlier, where it's like, you can't be claiming that you're a patriarch or that you want patriarchy, where at the same time you clearly lack the will to punish women in the same capacity that you will punish men who go outside the lines of what the patriarchy demands of both parties. Because all that will do is lead to the same issue where we have women who essentially cannot be checked. Let me read these comments. Keith said, remember they revised wedding vows to appeal to women back then. I didn't know that. They want to tear down patriarchy with a whole I mean, that's obvious. But the thing that I'm getting to is that this whole idea, like the best way that I can succinctly put it is that we're coming, like the Western mindset towards manhood, towards femininity, is literally that women should inherently not trust men, while men should inherently trust women. And that if you as a man don't trust women and don't give women your deference, it's you who's the problem. While at the same time, you as a man shouldn't expect that a woman gives you her deference or trusts you. And you see this play out, especially with this whole dating culture thing, where like you ask a girl her body count, and all of a sudden she starts, flattering for bullshit, which to me is crazy because again, you'll have people you'll have people like Jordan Peterson who will rightfully so associate the hyper selectivity of women to the biological reality that when it comes to them giving birth, they're in a very vulnerable position. So it's in their best interest and the interest of the child that they be very picky about the man they decide to have kids with, right? But in that same regard, people will ignore the fact that as the man, you have just as much of a right to be and a need to be hyper selective of the women you give your labor to, generosity to. It's insane to me that throughout like everything, every other part of your life, you're told to double check. You're told to make sure that this is the up and up. Whether it's applying to a job, applying for college, getting a new doctor, you're always explicitly told, look at the reviews of this doctor. Well, look at what other people have to say about this school, about this job. Hell, at interviews, some of the top interview questions people will ask their company interviewer will be like, okay, why do you guys have low retention rates, right? What did the last person who had my job, why did they quit, right? Everywhere else in life, men are expressly told you have to be cautious, skeptical, and do your due diligence when it comes to a job, school, education, buying a product online, anything until it gets to women. The moment it gets to women, you start asking these questions. All of a sudden, it's you're insecure. You can't satisfy me. Why does my body count matter? It's. I mean, please tell me I'm not crazy. Please tell me I'm not crazy. On the PC that I'm doing this live on right now, right? It's about almost 3 years old. I got it in 2020. Before I bought this PC, I did like 4 days of research. This is my first high end gaming PC. It's like a mid grade gaming PC. I did 4 days of research, finding out what the most current GPUs were, processing speed, what is the most ideal graphics cards and internal specs for editing videos, playing most emulated games, playing decently online, everything. Things to look out for when it comes to ventilation, accessories, warranties, things to look out for when it comes to proper companies. Because I have a Asus, right? Asus Tough Gaming PC, as well as for my price range, right? And then on top of getting this PC, on the side of it, I got like 2 sticks of DDR4 to upgrade the internal RAM from, I think it was 8 to 32 gigabytes of RAM. I did all that research just for this PC to upgrade it to just upgrade it. I did even more research to know how to properly go into the PC's inside the PC to take out its original 8 gigabytes and put it in a higher amount of space. Yet when it comes to dating women, I'm told I can't ask how many you slept with in the past before me. I'm told I can't ask, do you have kids? I'm told I can't ask, where's your father? I'm told it's wrong for me to ask how old you are, even though we know there's women out here who will lie about their age towards older guys and then end up getting those men in trouble. I can't ask that. It's incredible to me how in every other aspect of your life as a man, you're told to be skeptical, to do your research, to ask those questions until you get to women. Then it's, why does my body count matter? And what makes it even crazier is that the same women who are telling you why are you asking about my body count will ask you how much you make a year. We'll ask you, oh, what's the relationship with your mom like? And in the Western world, there's this mindset that a lot of the men who are raised under that cultural zeitgeist have, where it's like, y'all aren't as skeptical and as dubious of women as they are of y'all, which allows for these wildly imbalanced standards to be had. You'll have some of the most recklessly unworthy, unkept women talking about how they need, about how they're too good for type of guy. A private example, Ebony K. Williams herself, right? Ebony K. Williams herself. That woman is highly socially incompetent, highly socially inept, yet was running her mouth left and right about the type of men she can't be with. Yet still to this very day and into the foreseeable future, she will still have her eggs frozen, still not be married, and still won't have kids. In fact, given what we saw recently with that feminist girl named Julesy on YouTube, Ebony might pop up. Ebony might come out of nowhere 2 years from now with a kid and no husband. Yet these women will say this shit with no kind of awareness, no kind of awareness. But then when you as a man who's single tell other men, don't deal with single mothers. All of a sudden, it's oh, you hate children. Well, why do you guys hate the kids? Yes, why do I hate the kids that aren't mine? Crazy. It ain't isn't that shit crazy? Isn't that shit crazy? And again, I want to make this very clear. This live is to really dissect the pathology where we have men, where we have, like, in this, I guess, in the West, where it's like the idea of manhood and masculinity isn't isn't about correcting or controlling your environment, but more so about putting up with the neuroticism and instability of women. Because, like, even with SWP is probably the best example I can give of this shit. Because with SWP, it's like you can tell by the way he talks that he himself doesn't believe in correcting women who are out of line. He himself does not believe that. What his solution is to it is that just be so ahead of her that no matter what she does, it won't be an issue. Which is ironically what conservatives believe too. Conservatives, like, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, all these fools. You'll never hear these men speak on the complete erroneous mindsets that women have. It'll just be, well, men, we just have to build the walls taller so the women can't destroy them. What did Keith say? He said, in some of the books from English scholars talking about the Ottoman Empire, they created narratives about how they treated women back then and used it for moral high ground. Yes, I mean, if we're gonna be completely honest, yes, the East has been right. The Eastern world has been completely correct on how relationship dynamics should be molded for optimal progression. Give or take, of course, nothing is perfect, right? But, like, ideally, they're on the right path. They've been right the entire time. I mean, like, again, I'll use Jordan Peterson. There's a reason why Jordan Peterson made his 12 steps to life book for men. There's a reason why in the last decade, since he's been doing all this talking, he's never once made a book or a documentary or anything specifically focusing on the maladaptive toxicity of women. There's a reason why. There is a reason why he's never done that. There's a reason why his first choice was to speak to men. There's a reason why. It's not by happenstance. There's a reason why in all these clinical psychologists and sociologist circles that you've yet to see any person on the internet from those spaces speak on the alarming rate at which women 18 and up are being prescribed antidepressants and antipsychotics. There's a reason why. But you'll see a new article every 3 weeks talking about how men aren't doing enough for women. There's a reason why. Because mind you, I mean, let's really think about it. Do you guys understand how crazy it is to really sit here and say that the vast majority of women 18 to 24, 18 to like 45 at some point will be put on antipsychotics, and that since the study, I think it was a longitudinal study done from 2008 to was on 2008 to 2018, and it showed that every year consecutively, the rate at which women were being prescribed antipsychotics went up exponentially. Do you understand how insane that is? Because mind you, these are the same women people want to have kids. So you want women who we already established for some reason are highly mentally unstable to where as early as 18, some even 16 are being prescribed mind altering drugs to then also have children. Like people like I've that shit scares the fuck out of me. Forget that I have, of course I have, female cousins and siblings and other stuff, but like just the thought of, like, just think about that for a second. These women are out running, these women in high numbers are popping pills every day just to apparently behave normally, and no one finds that crazy. But no, you know what they find crazy? They find it crazy that that men aren't dating anymore. That's what they want to focus on, right? Right. What they want to make articles and studies about is how men aren't getting married anymore, right? Because that's the real focus here, right? And then of course, like, and this really goes into the thing about the whole suicide rates, right? Because when you look at how people frame the suicide argument, it's extremely erroneous. And here's why. People who talk about the suicide rates with men will say it's very alarming how often men commit suicide compared to women, which is true. But what they fail to add to that is that women attempt suicide more than men. So the question I have to y'all in the chat, which do you find more alarming? The fact that women try to kill themselves more than men, or the fact that men succeed more than women? And why do you think, again, no one addresses the fact that women try to off themselves more than men as often as to talk about men killing themselves? Again, you'd think that, like, that would be a point of contention, right? Let me see the chat. Lion said the women are right. Yeah, yeah, that was the interview. That was the interview where I knew that Hafiz was a fucking clown. When he sat there and just smiled at Jordan saying that, and then didn't challenge in any capacity. That's when that interview right there is when I was done with the roommates. That was like maybe 2020. And then I realized Hafiz was a clown all the way back then. And it just took people until the whole just pearly things to see it come out. But when he sat there in front of Jordan Peterson and let Jordan say that bullshit, that's when I knew it was over. Cause I was like, okay, so we're just going to ignore the clear cultural nuances to how dangerous that kind of thinking is. And again, a lot of people criticize Jordan Peterson because he keeps on making his arguments based around the appeal of biology. But the problem with the appeal of biology arguments that he makes in reference to women is that men, the males of the species, have just as much of a selective choice than the women do. And people don't want to understand that shit until now, where we see women out here becoming single moms by choice because no man wants to give them anything. People think that men don't have a choice until we start seeing purposely single mothers. I'm gonna drop the link. I just want to give it a perfunctory first. Lion said, even when they show concern for men, they're only worried about women. Yes. What was the famous word from the famous saying from Hillary Clinton? Men dying at war affects women the most. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me drop the link. I think I've given enough of a prologue to this. So that woman got up on a stage and said, "Men dying at war affects women and children the most because the men that die at war now leave." Like again, it's really irritating how people keep framing the usefulness of men. Like it's I keep on saying really, it's extremely aggravating when people frame the misfortunes of men as a problem for society because society now can't use those men. It's extremely irritating. Oh, the men are dying. It's bad. Why? Because now those are less meant to work. It's like, wait a minute. You'd think the loss of life in itself would be a problem. No. It's because with those men who are dying, that's less money for our economy. The shit is insane. The shit is insane. And the fact and the problem with it is that again, a lot of most Western men, like 99% of the dudes in this whole male centric space, they haven't even contemplated what I've just said. That they're so far, they haven't even gone deep enough to really even think about what I've just said. This is the exact reason why of the red pill got turned into some female nature bullshit. The red pill was never about female nature. Never was.
It's only was a part of it. It was never the full thing.
It never was.
I think it was a part of it, but definitely not the full thing. But
no, yeah, I mean, it's like the red pill in itself is quite literally just a complete understanding and awareness of the true state of the world you live in. That encompasses everything in your existence. That means the women, religion, government, culture, all of it. You
Yep,
see
Edward
all of
Anderson.
it.
I agree.
Yep, Edward Anderson said the red pill is 360 degrees. So yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
It's
yeah.
all of it.
It's not just
But
it's not just about female nature. It's also raising awareness in your own nature as a man.
yeah, it's
Hence,
all of it.
hence the Winter Soldier chip.
Exactly. It's literally all of it. But I think the only reason why the red pill became so hyper focused on women is because Western men are so removed from having to actually have to Western men are so removed from actually having to struggle to survive that all the other aspects of being red pilled that you'd have to understand, they're out of touch with.
Because they can't get past. I mean, it ain't for everybody, man. It's really I hate. I don't even say the words red. I really don't. I don't even say the words because to me it just sounds freaking corny when you say it. But I don't. But I don't think. I think a lot of men say they are, but they're not.
No, yeah, no, there aren't. They aren't because again, like I said, like I guess in my perspective, right? Like I'll put it like this: most third world countries, most men who are from those countries are objectively more red pill than Western men.
Yeah.
Why is that? It's not because of the women.
No.
It's because those environments
The environment
you
shows
have
you.
to survive. You have to consistently worry about surviving. So because you have to do that, you become low key cynical. You become very skeptical, very cautious. You become very aware of what's like. My mom, for example, as early as like maybe when I was like 5 or 6, since I was 5 or 6, she would always tell me, "You're too young to be walking around." She should always tell me, "You're too young to not know what's going on around you."
Yeah, the environment will always dictate. But I've come to find that it's God. Where is Smurgo?
He's
Where is
living his life.
I know,
He's
as
living
he
his
should. I
he's
spoke to him
living his
not too
life.
long ago, though. I hit him up not too long ago. But yeah,
He's living because he did his job.
he did his job. He did his job.
He exposed. He and
Yeah,
I had the same talk. Like the last talk we had was like
yeah. He knew some
him
stuff. Yeah,
realizing like, oh yeah, no, it's not the women, it's these
it's not
niggas.
the
And
women. Yeah,
I was like, what? He's like, yeah,
yeah,
like it's
yeah.
not the women. Like
And he
these
was right
women,
when he did that. Yeah, when he did it, I was like, holy shit.
yeah, it's not the women. It's the men because it's like the women will capitulate to whatever dominant force is there.
Whatever they tempt, whatever terms the men set,
Yeah, it's what's gonna
they have
be.
no choice because they know they can't do anything. But I think
Yeah,
that's part of it. But I think that's part of why they cling to the government so freaking
yes,
much.
no, that's exactly why. Because the government,
Mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't even say the government. I would say literally throughout all the recorded history, there's always been
Yeah.
a struggle. But there's always been a struggle between. I'm not saying the elites and the masses, but those in control
Mhm.
and those they control.
The Patriots.
The Patriots, I was fucking Metal Gear Solid shit.
Exactly. The Patriots.
There's always been a struggle between them. Whether you call them warlords and kings, whatever. There's always been revolts and riots because at some point, those who are in power will overstep that, and then what will happen is
Mhm.
that the masses who they're overstepping will have to make a decision. Do we keep letting this happen, or do we destroy half the state and reset everything back the way it was?
And they're willing to do that.
And what's going on right now is that, well, like you said, Lion, that I mean, I've said it before too, but it's that like when you really look at how women navigate through life, most of their navigation, and the ease of that navigation comes at the deference and generosity of men around them.
Yep. I'm like, they only do. Ed said it a long time ago. Ed said it a long time ago in the debate, and he was right. He was like, women are only do what men allow them to. Like, the only reason they're able to do what they do is because they're allowed to.
Exactly. And then you're starting to see it now is like,
that's
okay,
why they cling to the government, because the government will allow them to.
No, not even that. Because the government the government is the only force on earth that can make men capitulate.
Yeah,
that's the only reason why. Mm-hmm. Like I mean, look at the fucking child support system.
Oh God in heaven!
look at that entire system makes men capitulate.
By the way, I had a difference of opinion they were talking about. Like, as far as changing the law in marriage. Like, I'm not against no fault divorce going, but I don't think that's the bigger issue. I think the bigger issue is alimony. I think alimony needs to
exactly. And
alimony that needs to go.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying, like, it's the alimony obligations under no fault divorce
that
are exploited.
Exactly.
Not to mention losing.
I'm fine with her. Yeah. I'm fine with her
losing custody over your children. Yeah.
I'm fine with her leaving. I have a problem paying her
to leave. Yeah.
That's the issue.
I think the only reason why people harp on the no fault divorce thing is because when people want to look at these statistics of why women initiate divorce, they want to be able to actually pin this shit down as to why women leave. Because if you let women tell it, they'll tell you 5 different things,
and it was all the man's fault,
and it was all a lie. You know, like for example, when women, I think Angry Man had one of his shorts up, and it was like, I think it was on that Real Talk shit. And Jeezy's wife was talking to that Latina chick, right? And the Latina was giving that same bullshit, like, "Oh, I didn't choose for money. I'd rather just be like, if I had a choice, I'd be poor with a good man, right?" And the Asian chick just said, "Yeah, you say that, but look at who you married. You married a man who's a surgeon, and you're a popular singer. You're both wealthy independently. You say you would have chosen XYZ, but you didn't.
You're biological and you're lying anyway, because you are hypergamy is hardwired into you. You ain't never getting rid of it. So we don't believe that bullshit.
No. I reject that too, because again, like I said this earlier, is like that. If hypergamy is hardwired, then so is my innate polygamy.
That's fine.
But somehow men overall have been found a way to subdue our innate polygamy. Somehow, right?
Yeah.
So if we can suppress our innate polygamy, they can suppress their hypergamy. And if they choose,
I agree with your statement.
Yeah, and if they choose not to, then guess what? I'm not picking this one woman.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's the problem, and that's the problem I've always had when I get in these conversations. I'm like, the problem is, and that's the argument I was making when we were that comment thread, or we were on that Chris Williamson thing.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. I'm like, we don't give a fuck that you have standards. The problem is you forget that men have standards too, which is why a lot of y'all are single.
Exactly.
That's what
exactly
you're missing.
It. Again,
that's what you're missing. We always keep harping on women's standards, but we completely forget men are human beings with standards too.
It's not even that. I'll go further. When people like to make the whole biology argument, they keep forgetting that, like, yes, in most cases, a larger number of women will have their genetics passed on than men. Yes, but in that same frame, not any kind of woman is getting her genes passed on.
Yeah,
it may be a larger net than men, okay, but not all of not like you can't be a poor quality woman and still be like, okay, I'll have kids. No, because that man has to be like, wait a minute, I don't see the factors here that make you want to. No, we're not doing it. And this is why you're gonna keep seeing these 37-year-old, 35-year-old, 44-year-old women
chick
coming out of nowhere with no husband saying I'm pregnant.
Talk about or worse, talk about or not pregnant and then had a nerve to talk about what they deserve.
This is why you're gonna keep on seeing them this, because I like that Julesy chick. I know for a fact she either found a bum or she paid a couple K to get that sperm, because she just showed up with no man present. And let's be real, if she had a man, women show off men of value.
Yep. Men that they're proud
of. They showed them off.
Yes, they do, without a doubt.
So when she just popped up, I was like, oh, okay. So the men you claim to want, or correction, the men you claim you deserve, right, didn't want you. And then the men you want to settle with didn't want you. Or weren't going to capitulate to your demands. So you found one of these bum niggas out here.
But let her tell it. She settled. No, man.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to happen.
No, man. You're just mad. You're just mad that you didn't qualify for the men you
didn't qualify. And like people do not.
Settle.
People, like, whenever this conversation comes up, people do not want to understand. They refuse to comprehend that, yes, women can have all the pre-qualifications and prerequisites. They can have all
they won't. Don't fucking matter.
But the same men have our qualifications too.
Exactly.
And to imply that all of you, every last one of you, are qualified is a lie. to imply that you just showing that all of you qualify, that's what's gonna get y'all single and dead alone. To really just believe you all qualify. For the average or above average, you all qualify? Nah.
You think back to that whole year run of Kevin Samuels, of all those women, whether she's a single mom or she was somewhat pretty, they all had the same damn standards and they all lacked in one area or all three. Every last one of them. I deserve.
Yeah, like going back to what you were saying earlier, I said in Discord, I said, men always have like a masculine burden of performance, you know what I mean? But we don't want to admit that there's also a feminine burden of performance as well. So
I say it all the time.
Yeah,
we're not the only ones with a burden of performance.
Exactly, right? Like, or like, what was I about to say? Just like how us guys, we got to be resourceful. You got to be intelligent. You got to be socially savvy. You got to be physically fit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Competence. You got to be competent.
Yeah, right. Competent.
Yeah, competent.
Various levels of competence.
We got to be all these things.
Right.
And all you got to do as a chick is shut the fuck up and be in shape.
Yeah, like I said, obviously, yeah.
It's not even that. The main thing a woman has to do is not be a liability.
Yeah, exactly.
If you bring it simplified like that, yeah.
Yeah,
don't be a liability.
Yeah, like I said, being cooperative and pro-social.
Exactly. Don't make my life any harder dealing with
it. Already is. Because actually, when you do that as a woman, you become a hindrance to my burden of performance. Actually, you think you're helping, but you're not.
Let me read the chat real quick. What's up, Friedman? Yeah, pensive. He said a lot of men don't know how to react when women do that for them. Yeah, because again, a key part to how all dimorphic species behave is socialization. So when you artificially disrupt that socialization, one side doesn't know what to do, and you see this a lot on these fucking like podcasts with these women. These women will speak to men, and I've said it before. These women will speak to men that if they were men, they would get killed. I've said it so many times. It's like these women will speak to men and behave towards men in ways that if they were men, they would honestly be killed. Honestly, like I can already see it now in my head.
But that's why they do it, because at the end of the day, they know they're not men. Because if they're men, they wouldn't do it. If they were men, no, they wouldn't do it. That's why they do. But that's the trick.
Let me see. The Breeze said you are a bleeding fool, a cudgel, staggered. What the? I appreciate your vocabulary, but I'm confused as to what this is directed towards.
Whose side you and kill?
A mutant dwarf smeared richly with of an accompanying your alleged birth to this earth. Okay. An incident blinking calf, meaningful nobody, abandoned by the bro. These are some like Shakespearean insults.
Yeah, you sound like a villain from Indiana. Sound like a villain from the Indiana Jones.
Yeah. These are some like Shakespearean insults. I'm actually impressed because most people
be like thou hast been chased by death. But you
this is actually some great diction, because most people on the internet, most people on the internet can't speak.
Somebody
much less type.
Somebody been reading Hamlet or something.
Exactly. Captain, my captain, freaking Dead Poet Society.
A giggling beast whose sire would then kill themselves in recognition of what they have done. Oh my goodness, that's some Hamlet shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you a clap, because that was nice.
We're not even insulted. We're just impressed by your vocabulary.
I'm gonna give you if that was an insult. Oh well.
What?
Somebody
said, "Nah, it's about you, ChatGPT."
and
leave it to Freeman. What up, Freeman?
And the begins. Maybe it's smart. Maybe it's ChatGPT.
Probably is.
Oh man.
Oh damn. Freeman shut all that shit down.
No. It's just ChatGPT. Man, that would be such an insult to my intelligence, bro. I was like, nah, that looks too good for you. Is that ChatGPT? Is that ChatGPT?
Shit. Oh man.
What did Big Dog say? You Big Dog say, peace to the chat and panel. How y'all hardworking black men doing? I did a killer shoulder workout today. My shoulders feel heavy as fuck right now. I'm not gonna lie. After I finished, I can do shit for a good 30-40 minutes with my shoulders. So
yeah, I decided it was hard for me. I wanted to go to the gym, but I was supposed to go do legs, but I was like, fuck, I decided to break up the monotony and do some boxing drills instead.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Doing well. This is a weird. I mean, that stream, like, niggas are weird.
No,
after last
last
week. Go back to last week with BGS's stream. Niggas are weird.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because it's like I don't I mean, like I get I get why it exists, right? I just don't understand how men can just decide to live like that. That's the part that I don't get. Like I mean, Corey Holcomb said it best. Ain't no way you're gonna get a man to sign back up for fuckery he just got done with.
Yo, I swear to God, I had that conversation with my ex. I'm like, listen, I got out of my marriage clean when I divorced her. I don't know if I'm willing to pick it. I was literally playing Russian roulette. I don't know if I want to pick up that gun again, sweetheart.
Like, and the way he said it, I was like, thank you, because it's like motherfuckers are really running around here asking like, why aren't men getting married? Nigga, are you blind? Are you not seeing what's going on right now?
Just run that crib. Just run that. It's funny you said what you said earlier in the beginning of the chat when He said, "Yo, money bags don't want to do that because of what's in it." Rihanna said the same. Rihanna don't want to get married.
Exactly.
And now Yala Van Zant just said the same. I should like in the midst of this whole Ebony K. Williams shit. I was for some reason Ariana Van Zant popped up in my algorithm and she did a show. She did an old live stream, and I sat and watched that show, and then I caught something completely underhanded. I wasn't looking. She said I would never get married again and she was talking about the state. She was like, because of the state. She literally said that. She said that word for word.
And you know what's funny is like shit like that is what will make a man genuinely hate women. Like shit, those type of things. It's like, bitch, I know you know what I'm seeing, but you only begin to understand it when it affects you.
Yes,
and
but
that
when
is,
yeah, but
and,
when
and
you
that is
of our mindset, this shit is hilarious.
And that's that kind of behavior is such a slime ball scumbag thing. It's like, oh, I can see that's killing you, but I don't care till that's killing me. It's like,
yep, pretty much. That's why I can't help but laugh. I let my homie see that clip. We were laughing our asses. I was like, so you bitches out here know what the hell we talk about, but
I've said it. Like I'll keep on saying it. The biggest lie that people tell themselves is that the other people that violate their humanity don't know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
Like no, they like whether it's white people, the state, women, your parents, they know that they are acutely aware of what they're doing is going to affect you. They are acutely aware.
But you know why they do it?
Fuck.
But you know why they do it? Because it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it works.
And you'll have guys who are like, oh no, bro, she doesn't. No, that bitch understands.
No,
she understands.
She knows.
She's very aware of what she's doing.
Exactly. I heard that clip and I started laughing. I swear to God, bro.
Because that's like what, the fifth or fourth high earning woman. I won't even put race in it. I'll just say high earning woman who's come out and said, oh yeah, like I think who was it? Lonnie Love made her man sign an NDA. Why? Oh, because you want to protect yourself. See, but then when a man does that shit, all of a sudden it's, oh, you don't trust me, but I invested time. It's like, nah, just because I trust you doesn't mean I'm giving you the keys to my safe.
Ma'am, I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. I read The Scorpion and the Frog. Okay.
In fact, quite frankly, I don't trust you. I'm gonna keep it
honest.
Actually,
no, I don't.
I don't trust you. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I trust you enough to know I can't trust you. You're correct. You are correct, sir.
Yes, you're right. You're right. I don't trust you. No, I don't trust you.
Freedman's Journal. Do you think black women know? Exactly. Yeah. It's that feigning. You know what it's called? When I took a social issues class in college.
Yes, it's called feigned incompetence.
No, it's not that.
Weaponized incompetence.
Yeah, it's that, but that falls under the umbrella of what's called benevolent sexism. There's two forms of sexism. There's benevolent and benevolent. They essentially operate the same way that liberalism and conservative racism operate as. Where it's like, for example, a liberal will be like, oh, the blacks are moving in. And then a conservative will be, oh, the blacks are moving in. It's the same frame racism, but it's coming from a different place. One is from, I don't like these people. The other is, oh, these lowly beasts that I need to pity. It's the same thing for that sexism. That whole frame of that whole what Friedman just said about the whole thing with Cordy about do back when what they're doing is that whole thing that where again that is acutely a Western notion of femininity of, oh, these women are too stupid to know better. How could these women who are so stupid know better? That's acutely Western because in the Eastern world, it doesn't matter what gender you are. If you're fucking stupid, you're fucking stupid, and no one gets a pass for being stupid in the East. What, did y'all mute yourselves?
No, you good. We just listen.
Oh,
I'm also starting to notice. I don't know. It's kind of the inverse with these college degrees. I think the higher the college degree, the dumber the chick.
I can see. I mean, being in college, I can tell you right now that, like, honestly speaking, of the amount of cheating that goes on, I would dare say low key invalidates the credibility of college education, especially in STEM. Like,
Yeah, I was about to say, when it comes to college, man, again, everybody doesn't need to go. And like I said, I'm a college graduate myself, so like you said, I'll be the first one to tell you. And I was one of the people that got a full ride. I'm like,
let me cut you off real quick, Kev. Breeze, congratulations, you're a functioning adult. Bravo. Like truly that's the first step in adulthood and being a functioning, stable human being. Having autonomy, I congratulate you, because apparently for so long, I'm assuming you women were just dogs, like for fucking wild animals that couldn't think for yourselves, had to be told what the shit. I clearly, because you think that's supposed to impress me is amazing. Yes, you work for your own shit. No shit, Sherlock.
Oh, you want a trophy for self-sufficiency?
Jeez, oh my goodness! Like, bravo. I bet you pay your card on time, don't you? Don't you? Right? I bet you can dress yourself too, right? I know you can. I know you have an amazing outfit picked up for tomorrow. I bet you do. Genius, truly. I'm an adult. Yeah, Freeman, you're right. I'm an adult. Oh my god, that's so brave. That is so brave. Fucking idiots.
what did Aaron Clary say? Oh my God, stunning and brave. OMG, stunning and brave.
She dressed herself. Oh my goodness. Fight the patriarchy. It's fucking
Exactly, and these would be the same ones. And this is what's hilarious about that Courtney Michelle thing, and especially because this is talked about in the book called Anatomy of Female Power. That whole like weaponized incompetence, that a lot of women use to like emotionally manipulate men.
and that is acutely a Western thing, because in the East, Eastern men will let dumb women. Eastern men will let dumb women die. They will let dumb women die in the East. Oh, you're stupid. Okay, then die. Good. Be stupid over there. be dumb over there. I dare you. Like, that's why in Asian countries there's no fucking welfare in Asian countries. That's the reason why that doesn't exist over there.
Only here. There's a reason why millions and millions of people are fighting to get over here.
There's a reason why. Oh, you want to be dumb and have kids willy nilly? Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck to you. And if those kids become problems, we will kill them. Be ready for that shit too. Ain't no he's a good boy. No one got time for that shit.
Yeah,
No
but
one has time for that shit.
yeah, and what I was saying with a lot of these people, Ezzy, what I was saying earlier is like going back to like the whole like fake hypocritical outrage. Mr. Z, and shout out to Mr. Z, but he had did like a live earlier talking about how like the YouTube channel called like Waving the Red Flag had FD Fire speaking on there and talking about how so-called black men being offended at Ebony K. Williams' statements is just a sign that we need to air quotes be more resilient. It's like it's hilarious watching like the abject hypocrisy of the far left because they talk all this bullshit about fighting racism this and fighting racism that, right? Yet when you explain to them, I'm saying yet they consciously dance around the fact that the group of people that face the most quote unquote racism and racial discrimination based off of gender gender, race, and sexual orientation are straight so-called black men in America. You know, they will dance around it. They will talk about everybody else's issues except their issues, and the only time they bring up the issues and the plight of straight men and boys, in the so-called black community, is when either they're doing it as a way of concern trolling, like you said, only bringing up the issues of men just to bring up how it affects women, or they use it as like a political football and like an emotional punching bag. Like they only bring us in to critique us, and that's about it. So it's just like
Friedman pretty much summed up my contention with that, is that American men throw away the productivity to lose via welfare. Everything you just said, Kev. If black men operated under the ethos of I don't care unless you make me, it wouldn't matter.
Yep. But I think it's happening now, slowly but surely.
It's happening, yeah. But like that used to be how, ironically, American men operated. Because before the 1900s, there were like so many revolts because it was like, nah, fuck that, make me. Fuck exactly, that, make me.
Yeah, and that's the part that they don't want to talk about. Yeah, it's like there were some like 250 slave revolts. So
fuck that, make me.
Yeah, you might have to give me a wrench, man, so I can. This Breeze person, I think they trolling like a motherfucker.
No, I'm not even. I see them. I'm not even. I'm just impressed, honestly. Like, because like I don't even have 300 subs, yet I have trolls. Why?
Yeah.
I don't even post content regularly. The last live I did was almost 3 weeks ago.
Yep. We were on it. Yeah, we were on
it. Yeah, like trolling me for what? What do you gain from this? I don't even get paid for this shit. What are you trolling me for?
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, man, it's just one of those things where it's just like, man, like, bro, what? You just kind of look at this stuff, and it's just like, this is
Oh, shit.
I am sorry. Oh, that's funny, man. Freedom, you got me cracking up, bro.
That's hilarious. Shit. That's hilarious, bro.
Yo,
that's hilarious.
Yo, Freedom was stupid, bro.
Look at I can see the eye.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but Ezzy, I did want to talk about
my mind too.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, but Ezzy, I did want to talk about the live that Keep It 100 had. And shout out to Keep It 100, man. He's always a good host, man. Always grateful. But I was just real frustrated, man, with like Ramil, you know what I mean, and like the other dudes that want to talk about this whole SBE crap, because something that I pointed out is like the problem with the whole SBE argument is that number one, he admits himself that we're not even the main ones that do it,
So why talk? Yeah, that's what. When you said that, I'm like, so why the fuck are we talking about it?
Exactly. It's similar to how FD Signifier tries to talk about the quote unquote black incels. I'm like, first of all, the overwhelming vast majority of so-called black men are not incels.
Black incels. I'm sorry.
No such thing.
There's black men collectively have too low of standards to be incels.
Exactly. Pretty much.
Unfortunately, like as Charles Faulkner said, the garbage man of the dating
pool. And so how can we be incels?
How can we be incels? Like,
how? Which one is it?
There's women out here.
I need you to pick one.
There's women out here who should still be virgins who have kids.
Yep. Yep.
Like there's women out here. Like I know I showed you that picture of that fucking like troll looking bitch on one of those white panels, right?
Oh yeah, she's built like a Haloti Nada if he was out of shape.
Yeah,
you talking about whatever? Are you talking about whatever pod?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember. I saw that one.
Oh yeah, how she was talking about how she had men in her DMs, and I'm like, I'm exactly. Like, bro, what? Right. I'm like, first of all, she looks like she could be. She could have played beside.
She looks
She
like
looks like she could have played beside me on like the goal line package, on like the goal line defense, like fourth and goal at like the 2-yard line, like last play of the game. Just put her right there over the
like
center, man.
Like, you know,
They
to
try to
bring
run a
up Lord,
quarterback sneak, they can forget it.
to bring up Lord of the Rings. She's like a fucking orc. She's like a damn orc. But I promise you, she's not a virgin. I promise you, she's not. That right there just shows you, like,
because and that's why I hate those whole conversations about when they try to talk about trying to hold brothers accountable, because we know it's crap, because we know it's a bullshit argument, because if they care so much about holding brothers accountable, they wouldn't be talking about this whole SBE, misogynist, all this other stuff. They would be talking about, bro, first of all, y'all eat too much sugar and your standards are too low when it comes to women.
Yeah, my question is, hold us accountable to what? Hold us accountable.
When are we not held accountable?
Hold you accountable to not wanting to John Henry. That's what it is.
That's pretty much. That's what it sounds like.
Why won't you niggas fix our problems?
Exactly.
We don't have to.
Exactly.
Nah. But John Henry would, and then die afterward.
Well, call that nigga John Henry then.
Call that nigga John Henry.
Call that nigga. The hell you calling me for? And that's pretty much the conversation. That is pretty much the nuts and bolts of the conversation that you and me ease when we were going back and forth with that chick in that thread. That's pretty much what it is. Like, oh, you want John Henry? You're busy whining. And that's when I asked her, I'm like, oh, really? So when your husband, you claim to be married, so when your husband is expressing his grievances to you, is that whining?
Yeah, no, clearly it is.
Is it?
And again,
I want to hear her. She didn't answer the questions. I want to hear her.
She didn't answer the question. That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's part of, again, that's part of that. Like Western masculinity. Like, I'll put it like this: when people say that men of the past, you know, didn't bring up their issues, right? The reason why they didn't bring up the issues isn't because they didn't have to. It's because, quite frankly, who is going to solve our problem?
Yeah.
Especially when you realize that the large, and this is the reason why, like, people mistook Rollo Tomasi's quote, because a lot of the first three things he mentioned were problems that most men will fall into. That if they fall into, there will be no one to help them get out of it.
Yep.
Exactly. And those problems have been persisting since the beginning of time. Having kids with women you don't want to have kids with, having kids you don't want anyway, and then running the risk of having kids,
and then running the risk of not only having kids with a woman that can literally do whatever
she wants to you,
she wants with them, and still demand you to pay for them. And that and you're mad at him for quoting that. I agree with I agree with the tweet. I'm like,
I agree with it, because
given the environment, I was like, given the environment of growing paternity tests and child support and men getting raked in the coals through child support. I mean, it's necessary. That's very necessary.
Yeah, it's like
I didn't have a problem with the tweet at all. None of it. Not even.
I use the analogy like this, right? You know, because I'm pretty sure everyone's pretty much familiar with, like, American football, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Like, when you hear them trying to,
I played nose guard. Shit, I should know.
Exactly. Perfect. Yeah. So did I. But yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because hearing these people, you know, especially when you see a lot of these, like, triacons, a lot of these, like, feminists, and like the sympathizers talk about, you know, when they try to say the women are like the backbone of the community and whatnot, it's like saying that shit is like saying I could build a championship caliber football team, but I'm only going to draft wide receivers, quarterbacks, and like guys that play on special teams. Like, I'm not going to focus on offensive, defensive linemen. I'm not going to develop any offensive or defensive linemen, any good ones. I'm not going to get any linebackers, defensive backs, running backs, etc. And then turn around and complaining why, you know, even at your best, even with the special teams playing out of their mind, you're only putting up like 7 points a game and you're getting sacked like 12 times. I'm like, yes,
I
because you're
mean,
missing the crucial part, the crucial part of the team, which is everyone else, all the other position players.
I mean, I'll go even further than that. When people say that shit, I agree. I play into it. I'm like, yes, you're right. They are the backbone, and like the spinal cord, once that fails, it's everything else's fault. So when people try that whole women the backbone shit, I'm like, yes, you're right. This is all y'all's fault. You're absolutely right. It's all y'all's fault. Yep, because
Yep,
y'all the
exactly.
backbone. Yep.
Exactly, and that's what I think somebody should do. When they talk about these community discussions, where they talk about why are black men doing this, that, or the third. I'm like, somebody should just come in and say, hey, whoa, 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 whoa. According to y'all, it's black women and gays, the federal government, and white people that are the leaders of the so-called black community. So don't talk about us. Talk to your community leaders. Talk to them about that shit. Talk to them about why there's so many single mothers out here. Talk to them about
Yeah,
why these men giving up on marriage.
go talk to the backbone. What are you talking to me for? I'm a finger.
Exactly.
Talk to the
Right.
backbones.
Exactly. Right. Don't. Right. Like I said, I'm just a finger. I'm just a thumb. I'm just a big toe.
Yeah,
Like go talk to
talk
the
to the
backbone.
backbone. Talk to the backbone. What you looking at me for? Shit. It's like no, because like it's getting like it's incredibly odd to just see it in real time. It's odd. It's so odd because I look at it and I just think to myself, okay, so what exactly do you want? If you honestly believe that the counterpart that you exist with on this planet that comes to you looking to carry them through life cannot be corrected by you, what exactly are we even doing here? Like, what's the whole point of this back and forth to begin with? If you already come into the room thinking that,
Exactly.
why are you talking right now? Why are you talking right now? What do you want?
I don't get it.
I don't go.
I had no problem. That's why I had no problem. I had no problem with Rolo's tweet because I'm like anyone who had put it like this, any man who really had a problem with the tweet really does not understand the environment.
He not even the environment. They didn't want to think critically.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Because, like you said,
that too.
Exactly because like you said, like y'all say y'all want these men to be men and to be fathers and responsible fathers and husbands, but I'm like, but you keep penalizing and punishing men for wanting to be fathers and husbands. So which one is it?
What's the point? Yeah.
As the saying goes, in economics, incentives influence behavior. If
you want self-improve to acquire resources that you can take at the drop of a hat.
Exactly. So it's like that would be a motivation for a man to not follow through with it.
That's the point, and that's the point. That's why
wheel.
That's why, like, I understood exactly what he meant when he said that.
I caught it immediately.
I just because it's like, if you're a man that wants to be put himself in the best position financially, etc., later on in life, those first three things, if you fall and if you don't do those first three things, right? If you create a family too early, if you get married to the wrong woman too early, if you have reckless, if you have accidental sex one time too early, your life will be ruined.
One kid, $250,000. Well, roughly $300,000.
Your life will be ruined. The trajectory of you living even a stable life will be ruined by proxy of you having to find a way to support a woman and a child that you may or may not have wanted right then and there.
Yep.
In your 20s.
You didn't even know if you liked her. You didn't even know if you liked her.
Exactly. You didn't know. You could have had sex and the condom broke and it's over.
It's over.
Yep. And what was I about to say? And BTS made this important point. it's hilarious because, or should I not say hilarious, but it's ironic because for the longest time, marriage was seen as a gateway out of poverty, but now they're looking at it as a way to keep you trapped in poverty. You know what I mean? So it's
Well,
like,
it's to keep you
or
as a
should I
man
say,
in poverty and get them out.
Yeah,
Because you notice how every
it's
rich
exactly,
woman, if you go back and look, every rich woman, the richest women in the world, either got their money by divorce or through inheritance.
Yep.
Every last one of them. There's Oprah's pretty much the only one that's actually quote unquote self-made. She's the only one that's self-made. Everybody, but she's self-made off of her own bullshit at the end of the day too. But yeah, most women inheritance or divorce. That's how they got paid.
exactly. At least the inheritance is understandable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. I'm not knocking inheritance. That's inheritance. Inheritance from the family. It's from
right.
That's from the father. That's fine. That's the way it's supposed to go.
Exactly.
Theoretically, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Exactly. What was I about to say?
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's the reason why. And Miss, you was talking earlier about like a neoliberal policies. I'm like, that's going to be the thing that causes so-called Western society to collapse in on itself. It's like you trying to make the men obsolete, you know, and trying to
it's not even
make fathers obsolete.
It's not even trying to make them obsolete. What they're trying to do is, again, well, like I said in that with that whole Hillary Clinton thing, right? Like early humanity was very cutthroat in that, you know, men were seen as disposable. That is very true, right? It's gotten to the point now where it's going into hyperdrive, where essentially now, and I think BG talked about this before, is that eventually it'll get to the point where some of these first world countries will invoke a bachelor's tax for all these by choice single mothers and their bastard kids, and not even bastard kids, just latchkey kids that they'll have, where essentially, because there'll be so much resources needed. Because again, in any community, society, men are the catalyst of progression. Hell, evolutionarily speaking, it's the male half of the species that pulls the gene pool forward. So when you have all these exponential growths and resources being taken out by women and children and the state, you're going to need to have men to compensate for that, because the women deliberately will not work as hard as men. And we're seeing this now with this whole thing about how essentially women are talking about women are tired because we have to work and do house chores. The fuck?
Blame Yan says they fought for this shit. Get your ass to work.
But again, that's an exception. Women have always worked.
Well, yeah,
women have always worked.
I forgot.
Women have all.
Had a brain fart.
That's the lie they want to push to say, oh well, now we all need to be housewives. No, women have all. If you go into any village in Latin America, Africa, or Asia, you will see a woman doing some kind of work. Mm-hmm. Outside, you will. My great grandmother, my grandmother, rest her soul. She was a seller. She used to sell drinks, food, all that stuff in the marketplace. Is that not a job? Is that not work? And then she come home and cook. The idea that women somehow didn't like it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie to encourage and add validity to women's laziness. Women have always worked and did their domestic jobs. They've always done that. Now, did they work as much as their husbands? No, because that was the offset. That the man will bring in the majority of the finances to maintain the home, and the wife will do the maintaining of the home the majority of the time. That was the balance. But then when you have an economy and a government that wants to pull more money out of its citizens, and you have women who have penis envy, who don't understand that the reason why men who don't want to understand that the reason why you see all these books written by men about successful men is because those successful men were obsessive to the point of forsaking their entire families to be great while you on vacations every 3 weeks.
That goes back to the old days. I just got finished reading Machiavelli, The Prince, and everything it took as far as governing is concerned, and pretty much the ends justify the means, and anything goes.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm gonna be on Black Men Being Brutally Honest panel, so I'm gonna hop off this temporarily, and I'm gonna step back around if I have time to.
All right, Kev.
What did Friedman say? He said that is our Republicans are promoting child support, less welfare, more direct penalties. Yeah, it's about it's essentially governments are like batteries. No, are like fucking smartphones. All those apps take energy from the battery. What these governments want to do now is that the battery that is men, they want to find as many ways as possible to take energy from men to fuel the phone. And I'm telling you, when all these all these loser single mothers start popping up like Julesies and shit, and it's like, oh, I need help, a community bullshit, and they start making welfare programs to help these women. It's gonna come after men. Go ahead.
Your generation is a lot less sanguine on the welfare state. So what I think is happening is that they want more direct penalties because they know the system is unsustainable.
I could definitely see that. Yeah, just cut the BS out and just here.
It's like so. What I would say is men need to go in and lobby for things like, without a positive paternity test, there are no benefits.
No,
you know what I mean?
I completely agree. I completely agree with that. My issue, it's not even an issue with that. Is more so the logistics of that being done, because even when I'm talking to like guys my age and just passing by, but whether it be at a store or even in class, it's insane to me the refusal that Western men have to want to protect themselves from women and the state.
That's the chip. The damn chip.
To what you said, Friedman. I even asked a couple of my guy friends, like not even my dislike, I say like colleagues, really. And I was like, yeah, like I think it should be that until you get a paternity test, you can't even qualify for welfare. And they were like, well, what about the kid? And I said, and?
What about the kid?
Well, what about the kid?
They're not willing. They're not willing. See, this is the difference. This is the difference.
No,
you're not willing to go.
And then I was like, oh, you mean the same kid that she would have aborted anyway? You mean that kid that she would have killed, right? So what about it? And he's like, bro, it's like that's like, no, it's like if again the idea that children are protected class disappears when at the same time you advocate for killing those children in the womb.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You cannot tell me that you are for abortion and then also tell me what about the children? You don't care about the children.
Double talk.
If the child being there is inconvenient, you'll kill it. What do you mean the children?
Yep.
Oh, I agree.
We've already seen you look in your local newspaper. Look, not newspaper. Just look at your local news. You're not shorted every 2 days or something like that. You hear that's the thing too. They want to talk about women being killed. I'm like, yeah, and at the same time, kids are being killed by their mothers.
Exactly. So I was like, no. What about? I was like, the children. You mean the children that you advocate for to be aborted?
Yep.
You mean those children?
Or God forbid you have the kid and then the kid becomes a burden and then oh God. We've seen too many cases with that.
What are you talking about? I was like, yeah, ain't no what about the children shit. You advocate for abortion. Fuck those children.
Mm-hmm. You said fuck them kids. Why can't I say fuck them kids?
Exactly. What do you mean? Like I was like, how can you sit there and tell me you care about children, like in any real scope, care about children, when at the same time you advocate that if a mother feels that the child in her room is an inconvenience, she can get it aborted. And what are you talking about right now? Well, what are you talking about right now? what are you talking about, dude?
You ain't supposed to make that connection. You're not supposed to connect those dots, dude. They're supposed to keep you in suspended animation. Stay on the hamster wheel. You can't ask questions like that. How dare you connect those dots?
Oh, no, I agree with you, but well, I mean, they're gonna have to do something, right? Because they can't fill out the army, right? They can't fill out the armed services.
No,
they're gonna have to do something.
I've seen some of the videos of these kids and trying to do the obstacle courses in basic, man.
No, and
again, don't come here.
And again, I mean, to what you're saying, Friedman, I mean, we'll have to do something. Yes, my thing is, will they do something in time before the masses of men say fuck it and become essentially fucking not loners but outlaws, and it's of like, I'm not tied to any nation or creed except for my own. Yeah, because that's what's gonna happen. That's gonna be the end game. Where because I mean, I'm sure what, like, whether it be a national identity, ethnicity, or etc. All these things are created as a cordial to keep you contained.
It's really over. Go ahead. When it's really over, right? When it's really over if they legalize prostitution.
Oh,
well, I think
that'll never happen because I think they know why. It'll never happen because they know why. They know why.
I don't think it'll be over per se. I just think if that ever happens, the birth rates will go down to like 5%.
Yep. Oh, dramatic.
Because at that point, you'd have to really look at it like if prostitution becomes legal, so many women are going to do it. Like, it'll be almost an incalculable number of women who will engage in it. And men, in response, will be like, okay, so I now have to write off this amount of the population as potential mothers for my children.
Pretty much. We're already doing that now, but yeah.
We're doing that now.
The numbers just went up.
I think that dynamic already exists.
Yeah.
Right? What you're talking about? Because you have OnlyFans, you have like a high out of wedlock birth rate among everyone, right? I mean, even white people are at the out of wedlock birth rate that black people were at when I think Moynihan was written. Right? Yeah. So I mean, it's like we're already there.
But I think it's like that's more like the currently right now, it's more like, how do I say this? It's more in between the lines right now, where it's like everyone knows it's there, but it's not, you know what I mean? It's not like in your face. Like when that shit becomes like, oh, I can look up the law and I can see, like when I can go to my local QT and I can see a hooker right there and it'll be part of the normal functioning of the society, that's when it'll be done. You get what I'm saying? Like the moment America becomes like fucking Thailand with fucking ladyboys everywhere, That's when I know it's over.
I get you.
You see what I'm saying? Like right now, it's like I have to go and find that shit, but I know where I can find it. But like when I can just dial a bitch, like, and just have it like express shit to me like that. You know what I'm saying? No,
that's true.
When,
I don't know. I don't know if it would even go that way. Let's say they had nationwide legalized prostitution, right? Just instantaneously, Thanos snapped it. How many dead women would pop up around the nation, or missing women?
Yeah, like I said,
that would be.
Yeah, like I said, it's like that would be like opening the ninth seal of the Revelations. Like it would be over. It would be over. Because again, like so many like the inclination to whore oneself out by women is it has to be biological, because the way they go into any forum and do that shit is insane.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the whole fitness community. They straight doing softcore porn now, essentially, with all these outfits, essentially.
Hey, you know what's funny about that is it's not working, right? That's why all these chicks are trying to trap men, right, and do these "don't be a creep" videos, because they're not getting the attention they used to, right? That's how tuned out men are. I gotta try to set some dude up.
That shit is sick. That whole gym, that gym shit and don't be a creep shit. I'm like, Jesus Christ, just damn.
No, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like I've said it before. If you took the clothes these women are wearing to the gym and put them on a 13-year-old girl, everybody except for pedophiles would immediately understand the problem. Yet, for some reason, it's allowed on grown women though. It's allowed for some because mind you, the uniform for men going to the gym hasn't changed since middle school. It hasn't changed. Shorts, a tank top, t-shirt. It hasn't changed
at all.
Yet for some reason, the moment these women actually develop, all of a sudden they're wearing damn near bikinis to the gym, public gyms.
No decent, no knock for indecent exposure, no nothing.
Yeah, but to your point, Friedman, yeah, the state will have to figure something. The state will have to create as they're either gonna enforce, they're either gonna have to sweeten the deal to have men invest in the state, or they're going to have to forcibly penalize men to invest in the state. And I don't know if they'll be able to do either before the masses of men become disillusioned with the state and become lone wolves.
You know, I think they have to. A enterprising muckraker should try to sue the federal government over selective service as being discriminatory.
In what way? Across gender lines or racial?
Gender. Right. That's pretty illegal, right? That strikes at the heart. That strikes at the heart of Title IX. That strikes at the heart of all of this, right? And then imagine that they find Title IX, they find selective service legal. What does that do to other legal arguments? Right? That is like a signal to men that you don't matter and you're a slave to women. Can they really do that? Right? Then a lot of the guys you ask, like guys have an antipathy to saving themselves. Well, now they've just been told that they don't matter, that you are literally cannon fodder for these chicks. And they will have to either make some sort of Handmaid's Tale argument. You know what I mean? It opens up a whole can of worms. I would love to see that personally.
Keith, there's already female-only gyms. They don't fucking work. You want to know why? You want to know why? I'll give you a good insight. You want to know why? Because heterosexual women like the attention, whether it be indirect or otherwise, of being around men. That's why they don't work. That's why no matter what male space it is, if it's male only, some fucking way or how, women will find their way into that male space. Example, the fucking Boy Scouts. Women aren't going to women gyms because there's no men there to indirectly express this sexuality to.
Nobody walking away, but we need a new connect.
Yep. So anything, you know what? The solution isn't female only gyms. The solution is male only gyms.
That's exactly to what Pensive said. Pensive just called it right there. Make male only gyms.
Yep. Just like you remember how they did. Well, if you remember, what is it? Augusta National.
I've heard of it.
The golf club that they were trying for years to make that, to force them to allow women, and they were successful at it. I'm just like, my rally cry is remember Augusta. It's just, you need to make stuff male only, right? Bros need bros. Like all this mental health stuff and all this other stuff, bros need bros. Have barbecues, lift weights, right? The females are secondary. Go to work, become master your craft, all that. That whole male culture has been whittled down to nothing.
And again, you know what's funny is that in the Eastern world, those things still exist. Those kind of rites of passages still, again, the Western ethos towards manhood is crazy to look at. There are no longer rites of passages amongst men in the West. There's none. There's no ritual, essentially, where like a man, a boy will become a man. What is it in the West? What is it?
Why do you think?
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's nothing.
There's nothing. We live in an atomized society where the bonds of men have been broken down to nothing. And that Ritalin generation really effed up the West, like incredibly.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that was, yes. I'm part of that generation where coincidentally, apparently ADHD was only a boy's affliction. So any boy that couldn't be controlled easily was drugged up on it, only to find out a decade later, oh, actually, it affects anybody equally, but has propensity towards boys. And a lot of the boys, I think it's like, if you look it up right now, I think like over 1 million boys were improperly prescribed Ritalin and Valium and Adderall for ADHD that they didn't fucking have it.
Yeah. It was to make teachers' lives easier. Get rid of recess and keep boys sitting still.
Get rid of recess, get rid of shop class, get rid of home ec. So now you have a generation of boys that you drugged up, and now also that you refuse to teach competent skills to. So now they're essentially as useless, quote unquote, as women, because women aren't trying to fix shit. They're trying to learn to fix it themselves.
And I like how you said when they said the competence. I like it. Say that again. Didn't teach them competent skills, because that's what's hilarious about a lot of these people that was talking about, like when you talk about like when like a lot of these far leftists claim they were trying to help, help the poor Negroes. I'm like, y'all claim y'all helping us, but then y'all take away these things, like you said, recess, which is important, exercise, and taking away stuff like home ec and trade school, whatnot, and trying to tell us how we all need to get white collar soft. We all need to get soft science, white collar soft science degrees, and how that was gonna be like this magical cure to like poverty. And it's like, no.
It was teachers. It was teachers creating a job program for other teachers. That's it, right? They chose their pensions over actually helping children, is what they did. Yeah. And that's why, I'm just like, teachers are not good people. That's where I start from.
And then, that's true, because usually, right, when you have like a kid who's talking about, a teacher of the past, right, they can only ever name one. Most kids can only ever name one good teacher. You ever notice that shit? You ever know, like K through 12, you will meet maybe 30 different teachers, and most people can only name one that touched them deeply.
Yep. Yeah, I only had a couple. And when I was going to school, it supposedly wasn't that bad.
Yeah, so what does that tell you about most of them? If most kids can only really look at one and say that one right there changed the way I thought about life itself, what are the other 30 doing?
Nothing. That is such a weird dynamic how a position as important as teacher has such a low level of entry. You know what I mean? You can be completely incompetent and be a teacher.
Yeah,
right?
No, I mean, clearly, no, yeah.
It's such an inverse relationship between the importance of the position and the difficulty to attain that position.
Yeah. And also to what I said earlier about competence skills, a real life example of this going on right now is that they stopped teaching cursive.
Right.
Like if you want a contemporary example of how the education system in America is systematically indoctrinating incompetence amongst its fellowship, cursive is now gone from. Is not even now gone. It has been gone from the public school systems. It's been gone.
Mm-hmm.
So now, as far as writing a signature, checks, all this shit, there's a whole generation of kids, several generations of kids who don't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
Then here's two things that here's two arguments. I think even John also points this out, right? We talk about how teachers are underpaid. Obviously, like I live in the state of Ohio, like I think nationally, teachers get paid at least $60,000 a year, and I think here in Ohio, the average K through 12 teacher, especially in high school, gets paid like a $62,000 a year when it comes to median salary. And that's not even including any benefits, you know. But they keep telling you every time you look, you know, they'll say teachers are underpaid.
I mean, they shouldn't get paid, honestly, because I mean, you get paid. You get paid for results, right? They aren't doing it. Like, what results are they getting right now? A lot of these kids can't read or write correctly, and the thanks to fucking Bill Clinton, a lot of them don't even need to anymore. Just give them a C and pass them on.
Yeah,
why am I paying you more? For what?
Yeah, teachers chose their pensions over the kids. Period. I mean, it's just that simple. It is that simple. And then, see, here's the thing, man. I was back in 2008, I went to a school board meeting, right? And they were doing all this thing and yada, yada. And this was in California. I'm like, you guys are like the highest paid teachers, like in the country. Why is California paid so much with such terrible results? And like the lady leaned in, right? And she was, man, it had to be late 20s at the oldest, right? And she whispered, "It's the Mexicans." Like, really? That's why I'm just like, teachers are not good people, right? This wasn't some old wizened husk. This was a young woman who had sold out to the system and was like, well, I'm just going to sit here and collect paychecks until I get my pension and I'm out. I mean, it's terrible. You know, public school is child abuse. If you're in the inner city, I mean, you might get a decent education if you're in the suburbs, but if you're in the inner city, forget about it.
Like it's getting to the point where, like, now, in order to get those programs that were public school programs in the past, you have to go to a private school.
Yeah.
Like in order to get, you know, home ec, in order to get in order to get workshop, in order to get cursive handwriting, in order to get calligraphy teaching, you have to go to a private school now because public schools are removing them. So now we have generations of incompetent people going to public school.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like that video you posted. 400 between, bro. That is so common. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
Like,
the one on Twitter, yeah. And people are like, "Oh my god, how is this happening? Y'all haven't been listening or haven't been watching." Yeah, that's what it's clearly. Clearly,
What video?
it was on. I think so. I think it was either Anubis or maybe FBA, or maybe it was Ryan 10 in the Discord posted a video of. I think it was like maybe some guys and these two black kids are like maybe from Florida or somewhere, and they were showing off their money, and they had a comment that said, "Ain't nothing but $400 between them," and they both tried to read it, and it was that joke of like, oh, that kid that can't read in class doing popcorn reading, and it was like,
God.
ain't nothing but 400 be queen
Oh
us.
God.
Yeah, like they were like text
Oh
like
God.
that real life example of like, oh no, it's a slow nigga that can't read doing popcorn reading. Yeah, it's like ain't
Lord.
nothing. But again, they couldn't read that sentence, but they could speak relatively fine English, functionally illiterate.
bro. And see, here's the thing. And when teachers complain about testing, I was a generation that they had to bring testing in because they were graduating students that were completely illiterate, like not even functionally illiterate, completely.
Jesus
Right?
Christ.
Kids couldn't read at all and had a high school diploma. Like, wait, what? Right? It was so bad. They were just like, well, we have to test these kids to make sure they can at least read something. And then now they're like, well, we have to teach the test and no, you don't. You just have to educate them and they'll pass the test. I mean, standardized testing isn't even competence, right? Testing at reading level means you're not illiterate, basically. Right? It doesn't mean you're good. If you test above average, that means that's like normal, right? If you're intelligent, you blow the test away. It's just crazy. That's why I say they're not good people.
I mean,
And that's
like
another thing
you.
that BGS was talking about. Again, you always point this out is just like how when it comes to these, when it comes to quote unquote black boys, I'm like the biggest reason why so many of them struggle to read at grade level ain't because they're born stupid. It ain't got nothing to do with any type of genetics or anything like that. It's literally because many of their own moms don't take the time to teach them to read. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Oh,
like
they did.
that's literally what it is. They don't teach. They don't take the time to teach them to read. I mean, even my mom was like, "You got to read something." Like both my mom and my dad, even when they were separate, was like, "Yeah, you got to learn how to read some books." It was on my ass about that.
Yep. Oh, there it is.
No, I mean, because like it's because what's gonna happen is that the government has two choices, and knowing the U.S. government, knowing how hyper capitalist this government is, they're probably going to pick the latter. Where opposed to investing in men to give them the incentive to want to reinvest in you and the state, they're going to just find as many ways as they can to egregiously tax men for basically existing without women or children.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they have until I would say a critical mass of men become lone wolves and become not even indifferent, become selfish with their existence before that, but to do that shit. Because the moment a critical mass of young men become selfish about their own lives and essentially demanding reciprocity from those that demand things from them, it's gonna be over.
Yo, Ease, put your Cash App in the private chat.
Oh shit. I always forget to do that shit. But yeah, because I mean, like I can just see it now. Because I remember maybe it was like 2016, 2015. I was talking to this black girl I met, and she brought up to me, "Oh, I want to have a kid." And then I said to her, "Oh, you're gonna get married?" And she said, "No, LOL." And I was like, "Wait, you're just gonna have a kid?" He's like, "Yeah." And I remember back then I was kind of actually like, "What the fuck?" Like, what do you mean? It's gonna like what do you mean? I'm just gonna have a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean? Like, what? Like, do you not understand what that means? And that was like damn near a decade ago, where I first encountered that shit. Now, fast forward now, I'm seeing tweets regularly from bitches talking about, oh, you know, I think I might just never get married or have a child, or you know, I'm freezing my eggs, or like, you know, Julesy, I'm pregnant at 37 with no husband. And I'm like, you bitches really like y'all are like it's like it's not illegal, right? Of course, but it really does show you the lapse in just ethics, really, that women who obviously know they lack the ability to foster and maintain healthy relationships with men are so dead set on having cases that they'll get pregnant alone, and then simultaneously still complain about the hardships of single motherhood.
Yeah, it's the culture, man. It's just their bro. When when I was in high school, I heard a chick say she couldn't wait to have her baby so she could get her apartment. You know, I'm almost 50. Ain't nothing changed. All right, they're just more open and honest about it. You know,
and these same women will give you that same bullshit about. I mean, I put the screenshot in the group chat. It was like in the same comment frame. It was, oh, women do the bulk of the child rearing anyway, so I don't know if things will change. Then under that, it's hard to do it all alone. It's like,
It's hard to do it by.
you bitches can't even pick a lie to stick with. Like, y'all can't even pick a lie. First, it's y'all do everything already, so nothing will change. Then it's hard doing it alone. Y'all can't even stick with the lie.
mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact right now they're concocting the next generational lie. I know they're doing it. You see it all the internet. They're trying to find a way to make the new color purple lie. The next 60 years, they'll use as a reason why they ain't shit. I'm telling you.
I mean, they'll try, but I really think it's just over.
No, it's.
Right?
I mean, objectively now with the internet, there's no way you can hide this anymore.
Oh, they're not trying to hide it though either. Even when you see these talking points and you see these shows and these podcasts, they're not even trying to hide it. So they're pretty much forcing men's hand.
True, exactly. So when it becomes like when that whole I chose to be a single mom shit becomes like in the forefront of society, I can't wait. I can't wait, because when those kids come out and they're just as fucked up as the last generations of previously, I want to be alive so I can hear what the excuse is then. I really do, because I'm guessing it'll be one of two things. We didn't get enough welfare, so so we couldn't do our jobs correctly as mothers. Right? It'll either be some shit like that, or it'll be that, you know, still the patriarchy, right? Still patriarchy. Because of our patriarchal society, single mothers were looked down on, so it made our jobs harder to do because society wouldn't accept us as single moms.
You accept me?
I promise. I know they're cooking. They're cooking because it's like, because I mean, when I saw that shit, I'm like, okay, so what are you women as the products of single mothers going to do differently that's not going to have these kids as fucked up as you are? What changed now from you guys that wasn't there before?
Yeah, nothing.
You see what I'm saying? That what makes you think now it'll work?
Well, what's going to happen is that well, what's going to happen is that you might even see something like this, right? Don't be surprised you see them soon doing something crazy like this, right? They'll say, "Oh, because of the men in these male spaces online is what convinced them to walk away from their families, and that's why they chose to become single mothers. That's why they end up single mothers."
Oh yeah, they're gonna repeat. Yeah, it's gonna be the same talking point. It's gonna be the same one.
Well, they're getting put out though, man. They're like the what is it? You're in Atlanta, right? So Fulton County, Cobb County, and what's the other one? DeKalb, or a lot of landlords are requiring 3 times the monthly rent as a deposit, and that's basically they're kicking out all the Keishas, right? And if Keisha can't stay in Atlanta, she's got nowhere to go, right? There's going to be a large like societal culling of the baby mama, because when as a landlord, I can tell you what the pandemic did. It was like you would have one address where maybe, you know, 2 people lived there, but you had 6 people tied to that address. And then the scamdemic hit, and now you had 6 people at that address. And now a lot of these complexes turned into like war zones, right? And a lot of Section 8 landlords, they got their properties torn the hell up. So they're just getting rid of them, right? The single mom thing is they're already revived.
No, yeah, because again, it's almost poetic, right? That women's laziness is also their downfall. Because if women realistically decided to take care of themselves truly and completely, a lot of their issues wouldn't exist. But it's because they look for people to take care of them that they keep finding themselves in these problems.
Yeah.
No society is going to progress taking care of an abundance of single women with kids.
Nope. I think we just have a lost generation of single moms. I think that's really all it is. I mean, they got to be cut off, right? And politically, they have to be. Even with women, like having, they're trying to get women to vote because women manipulate men, et cetera, et cetera. At some point, it's just like, I forget the CIA guy was saying that the way they make decisions is basically to keep America as the lone superpower, right? America cannot maintain its position in the world like this, right? They can't. And I think that they, right, sees that. So I think you're going to have over the next maybe 20 years, a lot of jobs programs, a lot of progressive infrastructure bills that actually get spent on infrastructure, because everything is like decaying, especially these big cities are decaying. So they have to get men to rebuild that. If they don't, that whole lone superpower status is very much at risk. Just my opinion.
I definitely agree, because and also to pick it back up for that too is that with the whole thing of that no society is going to progress carrying the liability of single women and bastard children. There's also the reality too is that women know that, which is why you're starting to hear a lot of these women talk about, oh, it takes a village, and there's no villages anymore. It's like, sweetheart, as someone who was raised within that mindset of a village, y'all don't want villages. Y'all are looking to drop the burden of your single mother. Y'all looking to drop the burden of your single motherhood on other people around you, masquerading it as a village. Because within a village, you're accountable to everyone and vice versa. Meaning that there is no, oh, I raised my kid how I want to. No, not in a village. Not in a village. You raise your kid. You raise your kid in the village. Everyone raises their kid together. And with the way a lot of American women think about child rearing, it's, oh no, that's my kid. I'll raise my kid. That's how I raise my kid. Not in a village. Because now you're starting to see them talk about a village, this and I mean villages. No, you want villages as more social welfare. That's what you want villages as. You don't want villages. You don't want villages to actually function as villages where everybody is held accountable for everybody else. No, you want more social welfare. Where it's like, okay, well, if I stumble, someone else will come help me.
And if the kid again that kid grows up and fails, guess whose fault it is?
It's the village's fault. That's what they like. It's insidious as fuck. It's like no, as someone who was raised in a village and raised around that mindset, it's not like it's not this whole I can come to you and tap into tap into that free labor and free help to raise my kid when I need it. No. It's not like that.
Should just get some marshmallows and just watch it all burn down.
I mean, that's what's going to happen.
We're going to get some s'mores, get some drinks, and watch it all burn.
And it's funny, and it's actually really funny though too that like when we look at it, right, that I guess the response from men and women in virtue of like relationship stuff is that men are like, fuck it, I'll go find women somewhere else, right? And women are like, fuck it, I'll just get pregnant by somebody.
Yep.
It's really funny to look at it. It's like the men are like, oh, all this the trash. Okay, fuck it, I'll just go find some women in another country.
I'll just go find better women.
Yeah, we'll find better women. The women, I'll just get pregnant by some random nigga somewhere.
I'll find. There's always a sucker. I'm like, all right. Go ahead.
What's up, prime time? How you doing? You're catching the later. Wait, Pensive, do you want to speak, Pensive, or are you just waiting?
No, I was listening. Well, what you were saying on what was it? Villages, yeah. Because I was just visiting my family, and they confirmed, man. Yeah, like
in the village is like, no, your kid is my kid, and my kid is your kid. That's what village is. These women don't want that shit. They do not want that kind of mindset at all. It's not that they don't want that. They want, when I need help, I can come get it from somebody in the village.
Right, they want life alert, but for dishes, like
exactly.
Like, come help me out falling. No, but yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like it doesn't matter. Like if you mess up, anyone can beat your butt. Like they can paddle you. You go to school, the teachers can still paddle them.
No,
even in 2023. So
yeah, exactly. Like I remember I was at a restaurant like maybe like 2 weeks ago, and I don't know what I did, but a guy behind me said, "Is that you, Arinze?" And I was like, "What the fuck? How do you?" In my head, I'm like, "How do you know me?" It's like, I know your parents. So this is how you act out in public when I hear, right? I was like, oh my God. Like when I rolled my eye, I was like, ain't no fucking way. And then when I came back home, guess what? My mom was like, so Uncle Liberia said he saw you at the Walmarts. What's going on? I was like, Jesus Christ.
That community is a mother.
I was like, this nigga needs to mind his business, bro. I was like, in my head, I was like, why would you? And apparently, he got my parents' number through my aunt. So it's like 3 ways he got. I was like, this is. Yeah, like these women don't want that kind of low key communism. They don't want that shit. What they want is
what it is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying like like again, the problem with all this is, and this is why I said earlier, it's like a lot of this classical liberalism is just basically shit that niggas were doing pre-colonial times that these folks basically just took to an unhealthy extreme. It's like the difference between now and then, like say for example, like 800 years ago was that, all right, cool. Say for example, you might have the right to vote, but you still had a duty to your family and to your tribe, whereas with this idea of quote unquote women's freedom, it's just, okay, they should just do whatever they want, and then everybody else should have to take accountability for their
exactly. Come and save me. for myself.
Exactly. Even the children need to quote unquote take accountability for the fuck ups of the mom. It's like no, yeah, it's like it's not a matter of freedom versus responsibility. It's freedom and responsibility. Like that whole negative liberty and personal responsibility go hand in hand. What they want to do is they want to keep trying to separate it and try to make it seem like that's totally separate. I'm like, no, it goes hand in hand. Like you said, if you want to be quote unquote free, you got to be treated like a functional adult. Like that's why it's like absolutely hilarious how they want to be like on this "I am woman, hear me" war stuff, but then when it comes time to talk about taking basic accountability for like what they do with their bodies, it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, so we can trust you to go to work for 40 hours a week, or to drive a car. Think about this, Ezzy. They said that they quote unquote can't help doing this stuff, right? Yet you can be trusted to operate a motor vehicle without killing anyone, on a consistent basis. Like I can trust you to operate a 1 to 2 ton pound of metal and plastic efficiently without killing people. But then if I'm telling you, hey, you should probably use some birth control, it's like, oh my god, that's too much. Like that's impossible. Like get out of here.
I'll do you one better. These hoes want to be fucking CEOs and presidents, but can't take birth control regularly.
Exactly.
I make that make sense.
Or even make the guy wear a condom.
I can't be bothered to take my birth control regularly, but at the same time, I want you to believe that I have the mental capacity to be a CEO or a president of a country. Which is why I have to point out that whenever people try that whole, oh well, they're like, I was young, I was like, yeah, you were a fucking idiot. You're absolutely right. You were a dumbass. I agree with you. I'm gonna double down with you. You women are too stupid for you. That you're I completely agree. You may be a believer. Like when they want to play that whole I'm too stupid to think thing, I agree with you. Yep, you are. Well, it's the same thing with the whole fucking traditionals and shit. Now it's the point where now again they want to talk about traditionally what men do with dates, all that other shit. I'm like, look, I only do that shit for virgins.
This is like, I only do that for virgins. Pretty soon it's gonna elevate. There's gonna be men be like, do you have an OnlyFans? Yes. No.
Only just for virgins. And then
do you have an OnlyFans?
And then I remember I said that shit, and some girl was like, well, what if she lies? I'm like, you're right. Women are so fucking scummy that they would lie about that. You're absolutely right. She got even more mad. I was like, no, you wanted to play around and say that shit, right? What if you lie about being a virgin, right? Yeah, only scumbags would do that. You're absolutely right. Only peaks trash would lie about being a virgin to get treatment, to get access to treatment for men. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I agree. Like, oh, I'm so over that shit. Like, oh, a man should pay for the first date. I'm like, oh, you're right. For virgins. Huh? Yeah. Traditionalism, right? That's traditionalism. Under traditionalism, those privileges were afforded to women that were virgins. Right? Am I wrong? Right? That's just traditional, right? The woman had to be a virgin to receive those treatments from men, right? So now, if you aren't a virgin, what are you asking for?
Yeah, special dispensation.
Yeah, if you aren't a virgin, only virgins got those discounts. So if you aren't a virgin, what are you asking for? And if you want to lie about being a virgin, what does it say about you? Yeah. But remember, they're the prize though. Got women who are out who are literally out here and I know for a fact women, like if men started doing that, women would in fact start lying about being virgins. And then mind you, they're the prize. So you're out here willing to lie about being a virgin, right? But you're the prize though, right? Crazy.
No, I mean, it's not that big of a leap. They already learn about body count.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. But hey, I'm gonna drop. Hey, appreciate the time, Ease. All right,
No
later,
problem.
fellas.
No
All
problem.
right, take it easy, Freeman.
Yeah, yeah, prime time. These women are lying about damn
Lying,
near everything. They
lying,
will
and
lie. They will lie to you about every single thing about themselves.
that's their first language is lying.
How
They
many
can't do
kids they
anything
got?
else.
Shit. didn't I bring it up in the group chat? How not even my ex, this girl I was talking to in the past, said all this. Oh, bruh. And no update. It got even worse. Yeah, like the girl I brought up in the group chat, right? About like how I was talking to and everything, maybe like 2 years back, talking to her and stuff, and it got really heavy and everything, right? And then she got mad because I kept correcting
Yeah,
her and
open it,
shit.
ain't nothing in there.
Yeah, she got because I was correcting her and shit, right? So she pops up telling me about how her boyfriend's dick is. And I'm just like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Like, not only is this cheating if it's real, but I don't believe that you would so cavalierly do this shit, right? That's why I told her. Fast forward today, it got even worse. She's over here sending me like Snapchats saying it's sundress season, shaking her ass and shit. I'm just like, this bitch has a whole, according to her, a whole boyfriend and is sending me this shit.
Wow.
And I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck is going on?
Scandalous. Just
and the
scandalous.
and the part that really just, I guess, makes me somewhat blackpilled about it, right, is that her boyfriend will never know she's doing this shit.
Unless he's cheating himself.
From the pictures she showed me, and like she just sent me the pictures too, I doubt he is cheating.
Oh, really?
Because
That bad?
that man is cursed. Like if the shit she showed me was real about him, it's cursed. That dude is cursed. Like he's Mexican and Asian, and that nigga's cursed. That nigga is
Wow.
cursed.
Wow.
If what she showed me was real, like if she's really with somebody and that's him, that nigga is like because the thing is that with her, she has this weird like fetish for like big guys. Like she likes like Rick Ross size dudes, like just big dudes. Which is why she likes me. Like I said, I'm a nose guard, so you can't be fucking small on a nose guard. So I'm assuming he's on a bigger side too, but like he has no dick, like fucking micro penis. And I'm just like, when she said me that shit, I was like, this. I hope it's not true. Not because I want the bitch, just because like if she's really doing this shit, Jesus Christ. But nah, that guy's cursed. Like if the pictures she showed me are real, yeah, he's not cheating. Well, he's paying. Hell, maybe he's paying her. Shit, he is Asian in California. Maybe he is paying her because
Bro, these women are open. Like I remember there was this one of my old gyms. There was this well, she was like mixed or something. Anyway, she always worked up there, like the greeters they have. Um and then like I don't know, like so many times I remember it was like, oh, okay, this woman is clearly single the way she's behaving. Only to find
you
out
would think,
like
right?
you would think. Only to find out later that wait a second, like she had a fiance this whole time and then just got married eventually. I'm like, there is no way you should act like that. Uh, engaged, really, like boyfriend, really, but engaged and then getting married, like anyway.
No, yeah, like, cause I mean, he Bro, it's and I'm pretty sure it's real. I'm pretty sure she's telling the truth because like the pic she sent me of him, she deleted it after she sent it to me on Snapchat. So I'm almost positive it's actually it's actually really like that's actually, bruh. I so sometimes like my dick's not huge like that, right? But
All
sometimes
right,
you
no,
just
you
look
don't
around,
need to
like,
know
you
all
just
that.
no, I'm just saying like
Uh,
sometimes you just look around, you're like there are people who are worse off in this world, truly.
all I'm gonna say is that you been needed to leave her alone. Is what I'll say to
Oh
that.
no, I did know. That's what I think. This thing, she hit me up. She. That's what I've been saying. The last like month, all these old flames cause come out of nowhere saying, "How are you? How are you doing?" I'm like, bitch, you still have my number? I know I can't be the only one that's got a fucking "How are you" text out of nowhere. I know I can be in the last like year at least. Like, it is just it's a cold world out there, man. It's a cold ass world. But I'm gonna end this up this up soon. Uh, I guess Ed is doing something. I think he posted a chat something about the whatever podcast. I don't know.
I think he was just saying that they got 10,000. They got 10,000 people watching. It was Pearl. I think Pearl's there.
Oh, that's why. Okay, yeah, Prime. Yeah. Thanks for coming up. Lying again.
No problem.
Steady donator.
No
Um,
problem.
don't forget for y'all that into fighting games, June 2nd, Street Fighter 6 drops.
Yeah,
I
the
pre-order.
beta.
The
I
beta
downloaded
is
the
out right
open
now.
beta.
Yeah, the beta
Yeah,
is out right now. I'm probably gonna pre-order that shit. What day is the second? Actually, is that a Tuesday or I might be off work?
white.
Oh,
The
it's a
open beta.
Friday.
Prime said
Oh,
it's good.
oh yeah. I've seen gameplay for it. Yeah, it might be their best SF, honestly, because it combines the it combines the hip hop influences of SF3 and then all the gradual mechanics throughout the other games that made the other games better. So like it's literally the best of the SD Fighter series. Like it has all the different mechanics, whether it's like driver edge, all that stuff, and then it has that aesthetic of like if you've ever played SF3, is very hip hop influenced the entire game. So it combines them both very well.
I'm looking forward to Final Fantasies 16 too. That looks
Six,
good.
yeah, I heard about that too. Also, what else? What else was I? SF6. There's a Final Fantasy that's coming out. Um, the not even reboot. The MK continuation with MK1. I've seen trailers for that shit. NetherRealm Studios is on one with that. That's gonna make some good money because it's so smart too. Instead of going to MK12, just take it all the way back to one with this new storyline and upgraded graphics. Those graphics look damn near realistic.
Yeah, they look damn. It looks damn good.
Yeah,
We come a
so
long way in gaming technology.
yeah, and like I'm pretty sure that MKL1 is probably gonna be a early. I mean, it would be crazy if it came out this year. Maybe in maybe in fall this year for holiday season. It'd be nuts if it did. But I'm
They got
assuming
released.
it'll. Yeah, but I'm assuming it's probably gonna be 2024 spring. I'm assuming because
Yeah,
if it does, that would be like what SF5 coming out. Tekken 8 is gonna be coming out this year too.
they.
So,
Oh, there's a show. There's a showcase. There's a PlayStation showcase this week too.
oh, there is okay. So yeah, like the year of the fighting game is gonna be. It's here. Get your fight sticks, get your internet up, controller. Oh, MK comes out in September. It's coming out this year? Holy shit. That's
Yeah, September.
crazy.
Yeah, they announced it. September.
Jesus Christ. Wow. This year is going to be crazy then. September 18th. Oh, yeah. I forgot. They are doing pre-orders for it. I forgot. I completely forgot that. They are doing pre-orders for MK1. Yeah.
Yep.
This. Go ahead.
I was about to say, I just hope it's not one of those situations where the game is buggy and broken, and you got to rely on live service to get it fixed. I'm like,
well,
I hope the guys don't do that.
Fighting games are rarely that. It's usually other games that are like that. Fighting games are rarely ever just broken like that. Because I mean, the whole point of the game is literally that component. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give fighting games that credit. I've never had one where it was like it's just fucking broken.
Grand Theft Auto. I think they might be announcing Grand Theft Auto. It might come out next year.
Oh, September 8th, 2024. Okay. I thought it would be this year because they've been dropping trailers for characters left and right the last like 3 months.
Yeah, I think it's coming out sooner.
That's what I feel like, because like they've pretty much dropped the damn near the whole cast, really.
Yeah,
it's like,
I just saw the trailer for High Rain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was Jin, Hayachi, Kazumi, his wife, King, Martial Law, Paul, Lily, Harong. We haven't seen Brian Fury yet. We haven't seen Yoshimitsu yet. Yeah, no. Yeah, we haven't seen Brian. We haven't seen Yoshi.
Oh yeah. But anyways, I gotta hop off the stream, man. Again, as always, Izzy, thank you for being a good host, man. Thanks for having me on. You guys be safe, man. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, appreciate it. I'll probably do a stream tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow, about the gaming current gaming right now, because there's a lot of updates coming out. If y'all want to hop on that one, but nevertheless, appreciate all you guys who came in. And good morning / good night.
All right, take it easy.
Peace.